Hey, it's Rob Lightfoot, proud two-time alum of Rowan University.
And I'm Jessica Kennedy, also a two-time Rowan alum, and you're listening to
Beyond the Brown and Gold.
Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM presents Beyond the Brown and Gold, a show that highlights the lives and memories of Glassboro State and Rowan University alumni. Now, here are your hosts, Rob Lightfoot and Jessica Kennedy.
On today's episode of Beyond the Brown and Gold, we have 2012 graduate Blake Winston Rice.
It's a shame he was so shy.
I know.
Really took a lot to get a lot out of him.
I know, literally, like, he was quizzing us within 2 minutes of being on the show.
We did it virtually, and he started the Zoom on fire.
Oh, for sure.
I was wondering if we were recording from the start. I was like, wait, are we on? Are we on right now?
I know,
Blake?
you missed like a minute of content. Well, Blake is an award-winning director, screenwriter, and producer. He graduated from Rowan in 2012 with his BA in radio, TV, and film. He's done stand-up. He's done all kinds of things. Right now, his world is short films with, you know, obviously hopes and dreams of a feature film in the future, which we are so rooting for him.
And the cool part is he has Rowan alumni on him, like on the journey with him.
Yeah, he's got like several folks that he's made friends with here that are kind of coming up with him. And something that was super great about the interview is Blake was talking so much about kind of extending that arm to current Rowan students and kind of helping them climb the ladder, since so many people have helped him climb. So just a super fun interview. You're going to have a blast listening to Blake. Well, we're really excited because we connected with you via the main Rowan University account. So every now and then, the main account folks who work on it will send us an alum.
Who works that account, by the way?
Dana Trainer,
Okay.
Taylor Feldschneider.
It's mostly AI.
Anyway.
It's mostly AI.
Yeah, I was
100%
wondering
AI.
who has that control.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
every
High
once in a
school
while,
children. Yeah.
every once in a while, they'll send us an alum and say, "Hey, this alum's doing super amazing things. Maybe they'd be a great podcast guest." So we're really excited because they were kind of following along on your journey. So now the alumni network gets to follow along as well. So tell us where you're coming, where are you coming from today? Because we're virtual. We haven't been virtual in a while.
So virtually, I'm coming to you from West Hollywood. I'm in LA, and I'm from New Jersey originally, from South Jersey. You know, pretty close to down to shore. I'm from Morristown in Burlington County. So
Okay.
I grew up like, I don't know, 20 minutes from Rowan.
What's your
And
beach?
then
We always ask this. What's your beach?
Brigantine.
Brigantine. Okay.
I know, it's a hidden gem. No, I was I'm from Jersey, from Morristown, and obviously graduated from Rowan. I transferred from DeSales University, which I was there for a year and a half studying film as well. Transferred down to Rowan. Everything went incredibly there, and then I moved up to New York and started chasing the dream, working out in New York, and I can kind of go into the deets there. But was in New York for 8 years, and this past I want to say like almost a year ago, I was like finally ready to make the move, and I hopped into a beach house in Jersey for 3 or 4 months, got everything in order, and then moved out here.
They say that's what you do.
Yeah, you gotta get a beach house.
You get a beach
here.
house first, and then you go out west.
If I get a beach house, I mean, I stayed in a buddy's place who had an extra room as I got a U-Haul storage unit, which I put most of my life into.
Listen, isn't that
out
everyone's
U-Haul.
Hollywood story? Like you lived with somebody or somebody let you sleep on their couch. Like, isn't that kind of how it goes?
It happens.
So Blake, tell us about, you grew up here, you transferred here. Tell us about how you got to Rowan, why you selected Rowan, and what did you study radio, television, and film while you were here? You came in declared.
No, it was film always, honestly. I was not the best student in high school. And I want to say for like my 16th birthday, my parents bought me a little handy cam, and that turned into me immediately making like filming my friends kick each other in the crotch videos.
Yeah, fair enough. Teenage boy stuff.
I swear by. And then that quickly shifted to me pitching teachers, could I do video projects instead of essays or tests? And some teachers were down to give me a break, let me do that. Then I started loving film. Then I knew in college, even though I had the sports angle that was kind of helping me getting into schools too, I knew I wanted to study film. I knew it like that. There was kind of nothing else for me to do. DeSales University recruited me for lacrosse, and they had a performing arts school with a great film program. And I went there for a year and a half. And I had applied to Rowan out of high school too. So it was on my radar, and I knew they had a killer program. They just didn't have a D3 lacrosse team. So I wasn't favoring Rowan. And then after a year and a half there, it was a lot of sports, and I just couldn't dedicate, the time to what I was studying. And I applied back to Rowan my sophomore year, and thankfully got in. And once I got into Rowan, I transferred immediately, and kind of my RTN like era started. So when I got here, I auditioned for a show on the television network called The Great Debate to host it. And I hosted that show. That was a lot of me getting in trouble for asking inappropriate things to make people debate against. And which, come on, don't put me in there. You know what you're going to get. And after that, I think I was going to host another show the next semester called Up All Night. It was like a late night talk show. And I was all in, down, and flattered. And after the summer, that show like no longer existed. So I had the opportunity to pitch kind of my own thing. And I came to the network with a sketch comedy show, kind of basically a total ripoff Chappelle. It was 3 digital shorts and digital sketches an episode, some banter in between, and musical guests. And we called that Socially Awkward. And that's kind of what started my life. For about 2 years, we would shoot on the weekends this sketch comedy show. And it was like digital shorts, like little short films. And we'd air them on Channel 4, and we'd put them on YouTube, and some went viral, and we would put them into like little local film festivals. And I was acting and directing and writing and producing, doing all the things a student does. And we had a blast with our friends. It's how I started meeting some of the contacts I work with now in film. And that kind of got me in the room, and kind of got me my first commercial acting agent, and while I was still in college. And so that got me moving up, like commuting up and down to New York for some auditions. And once I graduated, I had this big body of work and had some little accolades here and there, and was starting to acting more and more seriously. And I moved up to New York in about, 2013. And from there, I started doing stand-up. And so because I had a little bit of the following from Socially Awkward, I could fill a bar show, I could fill a little comedy club, I could eventually do a little off-Broadway theater. And that went really well, and was really hard, and the hardest thing ever. And I never abandoned the love for film and directing, and that was always number one. And at around 2017, I did my first short film, I'd say, that was like film. And we shot on an Alexa, and shot it with some Rowan people too. And we sold that to DirecTV, and that led to the next one, which led to the next one, led to the next one. And now I sit behind paintings of guitars. It's pretty much the classic story.
We didn't use our painting for guitars today as our backdrop.
I know.
So
it would have been humiliating.
Humiliating.
It would have been humiliating.
So redundant. I got to dial back for 2 things. One, where is DeSales University? I'm just asking. I don't really know.
It's like Skull Island. It's never in the same place twice. It doesn't even exist. Yeah. It's in Pennsylvania. It's in Center Valley, PA. It's pretty close to Lehigh.
Okay, yeah. I'm a Pennsylvania guy, so we like that. All right, the question I have for you is, I was a radio, TV, film major here.
When?
Oh,
when?
Bajillion years. You know when dinosaurs were on the earth here? No.
2020. You graduated in 2020.
Thanks for noticing. Yes, thank you. Thank you for noticing.
The Zoom is very flattering to the wrinkles on that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's the lighting in here. It's just amazing. So my question for you is, like, when I came in, it was art, radio, TV, film. I like the R. I like the T, the F.
The F felt like a lot of work.
It felt like a lot of work. So
I also liked the R.
So my question for you, so I did a lot with the radio station here at GLS, where we're recording this show. Love the station here, did a lot here, did TV production up to like TV production 3, where we were doing documentary shooting. And film, I was just kind of like, well, let me just get by. Let me just do the first one. But you came into this interview and have said you knew you wanted to do film. What was it for you that you wanted to do film, and that was the only thing you were really interested in doing?
It was just always the form and being an actor and doing stand-up. I did podcasts for a minute. Like I've dabbled in and out of it, and directing film was the only thing kept me up at night, and the only thing that I wake, like, I had some great opportunities as an actor, some great opportunities to stand up and went all in on it, but directing was always like a different itch. I think it's they say it's like, it's juicier to be the painter than the paintbrush, and having that kind of control over the story. And I guess just being maybe the most familiar with it. Like, we all watch movies no matter what. The greatest stand-ups become actors in movies, and they want to write movies. Athletes, if you're a great enough athlete, eventually you're acting in movies, like, it all just kind of leads to that. And naturally, I just liked the form. When I was little, we were making dumb videos, and we would show it in film club in high school, and people would laugh. And I would be like, whoa, my ideas and our ideas with our buddies could make a bunch of people in a room feel something, and oh man, this doesn't feel like work. And that never felt like work. It doesn't feel like work now. And so I'm just chasing, just always been kind of chasing that feeling. Did that answer make any sense?
Oh, for sure.
I think it did.
Yeah, for sure.
I caught it.
Now, I feel like TV has changed so much over the years, where it used to be like, if you were a film actor, then you would like never be on a TV series. But now TV is so much more like with the streaming and the platforms and binge watching, like it's changed so much. Has that sparked your interest anymore in pursuing like the TV side of things, or still you really film focused?
I've written pilots, and like, I have TV shows that I've like started the like development side on. I'm new to this level of opportunity very much. I'm in the middle of a crash course on a different tier of the business than I haven't had access to. And my first meetings with the new reps, they're like, so TV sometimes, right? And I was like, well, whatever you want, honestly. To me, like, that's long form. The composition is totally different. If they were like, hey, you need to direct this, like, will you? Yeah, I'll do it. But it's not, I just don't see it, like, I don't think in that form. I'm green there. I think there's a ton of prestige. There's a ton of opportunity. I think to me, it's like doing a musical versus doing a play. It's just it's just a different form. That you do a musical instead.
You love musicals, man.
You love musicals. Musicals are so intimidating. I auditioned for a musical at Rowan.
Which one?
What was the musical? What was the musical?
Into the Woods.
Oh, unbelievable. What a hit and miss Rowan had here. Look, we could have had Blake on.
It's never too late to come back.
Yeah, my Billy Madison moment is I come back and I have to go through all the years of Rowan again.
There's a story there.
Katie Knobloch gave me voice lessons after I did one play when I transferred to Rowan, and then they were like, you should audition for a musical. And I was like, I don't know any musical theater. I don't know how to sing. And they were like, it's Into the Woods. And the one musical my mom loves, the one musical I know in the house was Into the Woods. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I did not get the part.
What a disappointment to your mother, I guess.
Yeah, you can title that the episode.
Disappointment. That's great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to call it out, but you said you couldn't sing for a musical, so
yeah, that's kind of hard. But
kind of a need, don't you have to?
I did see a secret. I don't know if it's so much of a secret, but I did
Can
get
you say this?
Yeah, let's see why not. So Christy Angelo, director of alumni engagement.
Who's that? Oh.
We were talking about who our next guests were, and I was like, we got Blake Winston Rice. You go by Blake Winston Rice, right? Like it's the whole shebang.
Yeah. I let it rip on the full name. But lately they've been not using my middle name, which I have no control of. So I'll just let the world decide, which sounded so pretentious, but like I'll let other people who get paid a lot more money call me whatever they want right now.
I said we were interviewing Blake, and Chris said, I know Blake, and he pulled up a Live Divine country music video in which you played the love interest. That's Chris's sister-in-law. It was great.
I'm in a country music.
Did you forget?
You're in a country
things you do in college you don't remember.
Well, that's probably a good thing for certain things, right?
How did I do? I don't think I'd watched that.
I'm gonna get it. We're gonna send it to you.
We're gonna play it actually now. Right?
I'm gonna send it to you. I'll ask Chris. He pulled it right up, so he had easy access to it. So we'll send it to you afterwards, and you report back and let us know, looking back, how you felt about your performance in the music video.
You told me at the beginning this not to curse, so goodness gracious, holy Toledo. I'm excited, not excited to watch what I'm sure I wasn't that magnetic in
So what else did you do here at Rowan in that way? Do you remember?
as far as acting?
Yeah.
What I loved about Rowan was you could just in the best way, you could run amok. Like, we would be like, oh, you can get free gear. You're down for us to we just took you out and shot, did whatever we wanted. We would hit up,
Sign it right out.
As the show was growing, we would be like, can we host the homecoming thing? Great. My buddy Ricky Ryan and I, he was the co-host of Socially Awkward and who we did the show, and he was the other face of it. And we would host events. We would host, we would go around and be like, the college would be like, you want to judge a watermelon eating contest today? We'd be like, down, what time? And Rowan was so great at there was just opportunity, and there was a very seize the day kind of platform that the college just a bunch of, they were just, if they were studio execs, they were yes men, they were just down for us. Mm-hmm. And it was really supportive. And there was always it'd be like, hey, do you want to promote the graduation and do a video of some thing? And we'd always be like, yeah, can we make it goofy? And they're like, totally, we'll pay you in gift cards. And we were like, if they're prof bucks or whatever they're called, glass cash.
I think they're Burrow bucks.
But I actually like glass cash better.
We'll bring that to the higher ups.
Got a little more edge.
It's like a Bitcoin almost.
When you and I try to sync the economy of the Rowan economy, we start glass cash, prof, prof coin, and we're gonna start our own little side hustle. This is what Rowan economics has taught me.
But this really was you're not wrong. A lot of experimentation happens here, which is cool. It's the students can kind of find their way and be as goofy as they want.
Who were your professors at the time?
Keith Brand, love Keith Brand. He was incredible. He was essential in kind of mentoring us and myself get our sketch comedy show going, and he kind of also put it on the college's radar, being like, hey, what can we do to support these guys? They're going out and shooting, and they're really doing their thing. Then I had Ned Eckhart as well, incredibly supportive. There was David Bianculli as too.
So many all-stars here.
But yeah, no, everyone was Rowan, what I loved about it is they were, I would come in and they created an environment that I would be like, hey, can I go let it rip on this thing? And they were like, go nuts, tell us how it goes, how can we support it? And in this business, you need momentum is a thing, and hype is a thing, and excitement is a thing. I wouldn't make half the things if I just didn't have, if too many speed bumps come up, you're like, there's 1,000 different reasons why you shouldn't go out, spend your money, and go risk shooting something that you don't have permission to do. And the college was very supportive, go out and get it and seize the day. And part of that I credit to, the little moments I'm having now. It's that mentality I think is essential in filmmaking. Go out and get it and surround yourself with people who kind of promote that, within reason. But I'm super grateful for Rowan in that sense, and the professors too. You're
doing stand-up. Who were your favorite comedians back then? And then who are some of your favorites now?
I don't do stand-up now anymore, to be clear.
Okay.
I've never stopped writing it. I work with a bunch of stand-up comics, and they're very much in my network. Always like Chappelle, always a favorite of mine. I'm not Italian, but growing up in Jersey, being in New York, being in Queens forever, Sebastian Maniscalco was a big, was definitely someone I love. My family loves, and we grew up too. The first. I heard stand-up for the first time, and it kind of broke my brain, and my parents would play us stand-up some greats when we were young. There's a room for inappropriate jokes and stuff that's not politically correct and everything, but I love a universal audience. And so listening to a clean stand-up when I was really young, I'm talking like a child, was so cool. And like, that was someone who like was the first stand I ever heard. And then my parents always loved like Wanda Sykes and Chris Rock growing up. Like they would play that. Yeah, I love stand-up comedy. I'm fascinated by it. It's the hardest thing I probably ever have done. It was crazy that it paid my bills for a second. Those were bad shows I was doing. So thanks to everyone who came out and bought tickets. But stand-up will always have a near dear place in my heart. I'll never say never for doing another show again too.
Blake, it's clear you're a performer. You are a performer. Do you like being behind the camera as much? Because I feel like you seem like you would be really like great in front of the camera, but a lot of your more recent work has been behind the camera, right? So like, what do you prefer?
I'm definitely behind the scenes now. It might not seem that because I'm posting a lot of stuff with my face on it lately, which feels different. But I love directing. You know, I love like. Do I think I will act again at some point? Sure. Will stand up, you know, always like pull me in? I think so. But right now I'm okay with, you know, being behind the scenes. It also, when you're a director, you're still in front of everyone. You know, you still have to like, you still are leading a set. You're still motivating the team. You have to be the second expert until you're the first expert until you bring on your department heads, and then you're the second expert in every other department. And you need to be, you know, in front of people and presenting and in the mode and on, you know, throughout the entire time. So it doesn't feel like I'm hiding in the shadows as much, you know. And then getting into the sales and the business side and the marketing side, that's very much in front of the camera, and a new world to me too, which is intimidating and cool. And I'm getting the crash course in, but also is a blast, you know, doing interviews like this. It's a big part of the business and part of fundraising and promotion and the press side. And to me, it's all kind of mashed up into one.
With this industry that you're in now, what's been the hardest sort of lessons you've learned? Like this is sort of like on the job training, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't learn these things in school, but all of a sudden now here you are in industry and you're like, oh.
I moved out here before Cannes, right? And for about 8 years, I've been making short films and slowly moving the needle forward. You know, there's been no huge jump, but I've been chipping away. The projects, you know, they get a little less crappy every time. And you got to stay real about that. When they get a little bit less crappy, they get into a little bit better film festivals, and you learn a lot more, and the compromises become, you know, farther and fewer in between. And so I'd gotten to a point where I was starting to get you know, I had some names in my Rolodex, you know, gear and labor and stuff like that. I've kind of earned my, you know, some favors around town, and I've been producing on, you know, to support this passion. I've been producing commercials and doing locations and working on as a producer too. And so I'd kind of like been slowly rising. And then about 3 months ago, we got into Cannes and everything changed. Everything changed. The day that happened, my life hasn't been the same. And I've been kind of ushered into this next level of now, I'll put it this way. When I moved to LA, I emailed 100 agents to get a West Coast agent. No one answered. After I got into Cannes, studios were reaching out to hear my next script. Wow. And production mini majors, or like an A24, like those type of production companies, publicists, reps, sales agents, kind of every walk of business was coming inbound, when I was just trying outbound, knocking on doors still at that point in my career, to get just someone to like maybe read my thing, to maybe get a coffee, to maybe want to sign me. And now that has totally shifted. So what the hardest thing is, like, everything feels like icing and is wildly exciting. Every email I get now, if it was before Cannes, would be the biggest email of my career, and every call and everything. So the jump has been, I've been at it for 10 years, but the jump still feels like a crazy jump right now. Which I'm so grateful for. And I'm like, you know, I'll do 30 more years and if I had to get to this point. If I got into Cannes and was nominated for the Palm at 85, it'd be the moment of a lifetime still. And I'll work that hard to get there again. But the hardest thing, I think now is, maybe this is just recently this week, is now I have, everything was so fast and so crazy and so excited, but now I still need to be patient. You know, and there's a new, it's like, whoa, I'm in this, and this is my full-time thing. And now it looks like I'm making a movie. And now these people want to work together, and some names are interested, and oh wow, this millions of dollars, what? And so that, and then it's like all that excitement happens, and they're like, well, turn around this script and it's going to take 3 weeks, and you're like,
On the
Goodness
East
gracious.
Coast. They're a little bit more
oh,
laid.
you come out here,
They're a little bit more
Yeah,
laid
you're
back
so
there.
Laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you come out here with an East Coast energy. I swear by it. You come out to LA in production with the East Coast energy, and there's a lot of opportunity.
Especially
out
for
here.
coming from New York. You spent a lot of time in New York, and that's so fast paced and quickly moving. So
Mhm.
it must feel like, oh,
I was at
let's let something happen here.
I remember I went into the alumni office when I was down there. They went out to Burbank for an alumni event.
Mhm.
I went to a coffee shop. They could not have been slower. I was like, let's move this coffee It's just you take the cup, you put some coffee in it, you give it to me. The girl,
They're just really enjoying it though. Like they got it. Like
they are
they've figured
just
it
in a
out.
chill.
Well, it's because you ordered a pork roll, egg, and cheese. That's why. You know, it was like, I want
That's
one
right.
with, one without. And this latest script that I'm working on is very Jersey, very PA, South Jersey, and I threw a bunch of Wawas in there. I made it.
There you go.
So Blake, tell us about your
Yeah.
short film. So I watched a few of them before coming in today. I watched Steps, which was great, and I also watched the one with the chainsaw incident, which had me a little nervous.
You okay?
Yeah,
You came
I'm
in.
all right.
You came a little on edge.
Chainsaw Incident is the name of my band, and it's we're working on it. Okay, thank you very much. Do you see T?
I didn't see T. There wasn't I couldn't the other ones had a play button, but T did not have a play button.
I should have
Like a
sent
paywall?
you-
Is there a paywall there?
I should have. We should pause. You should watch
Watch
T for
T?
12 minutes
All right.
and come
I
back.
mean, I'm up for it.
I can send it to you right now if you want to watch it.
Yeah, I'd love to watch it. Now that had a Gandolfini in it, right?
It does. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what you got into Cannes with, right?
Yep.
I'd love to watch it, but I want to hear about it from you first.
How did it come together? T is a comedy about loneliness. It's very, very Jersey to me. We made it with, I roll with kind of the same crew, and this kind of started at Rowan as well. Like I'm always just scouting for who's leveling up on their own and who's really got the chops and who's insanely professional and who's also a good hang and who's like getting stronger every project. And I've been kind of sculpting this team together throughout my career, and a bunch of those are Rowan grads that we've had on since Socially Awkward, since my first shorts, since I was doing stand-up, like some of these people. And T is a very Jersey story. It all takes place in the back of a strip mall. It was actually, we shot it out in Franklin, so it's way north. But it's set in the early to mid 90s, and it's about the employee of essentially a Radio Shack who on his lunch breaks, he rehearses to a little handy cam asking out the girl of his dreams. And he's super socially inadept. And while he's doing this, he gets stung in the throat by a hornet. Anaphylactic shock takes over. And while he's literally losing his ability to breathe or speak, the girl of his dreams takes out the trash from like a Baskin Robbins or a Rita's. It should have been a Rita's. And he has to convince her to save his life, who's not only he'd rather die than speak to her already. And as he's looking more and more like Igor, and he's got to approach this person and find a new way to communicate. And it's about communication. It's about a little bit of, I guess mental health, but more so just like the inability to communicate and how everyone is lonely in their own regard. And we definitely hit some hard laughs in it, but more importantly, we're chasing the heart chords. And I'm really proud of the project. We had a killer team on it. From Rowan, our editor, Mike O'Brien, who's a dear friend, and I started in college with him, and our costume designer, Renee Ryan, she has been on jobs with me forever since I was in her wedding. Ricky Ryan, I made it. He was definitely involved too. And our graphic designer, John Shedia, he's been working with me since Socially Awkward. He started doing my comedy posters back in the day, and he's been doing our graphics ever since. He did the poster that you've probably seen. I think that's it for that one. But like someone like Matthew Montalto is one of my homies. I work with him on a bunch of jobs. We just shot a project called Prime together. I owe him a call back, which I need to do. And
we're actually going to put him on this Zoom right now. Here he comes. No,
and we have Matt. But yeah, it's the project has opened all the doors and more, and especially working with Michael, it he crushed it, and he brought a degree of vulnerability and tenderness to the role that I'm really proud of, and I think it shines through. And the success of this little short is a testament to his work and professionalism as well.
So we're clearly built differently here, because like, where does someone come up with the idea of, oh, this character is going to get stung in the neck by a bee? This is like, where do all these ideas come from?
And loneliness is kind of a theme, is fun, especially if you can pump like some dark comedy into it. So it's always kind of like swirling in that headspace. Then also separately, I saw a monologue from an incredibly talented actor named Isaac Lee, and it was a scene about asking a girl out. And it just like, and he kept resetting. It was such a cool piece of inspo and he gets stung by a bee in it. And I thought it was just a great premise for this short. And so expanding on who this person was, what other players are in this world, what world do I know and I can dominate in a short period of time creatively, when as a filmmaker growing, at least for me, I started out thinking I could do giant murder dramas in the desert, and I shot everything trying to be like Fincher. I didn't really know what the heck I was talking about, or like, no, and you got to start small. And so I know Jersey. I know this summer feeling when everyone leaves for their first entry-level job or leaves for college, and it's still hot and stuff's overgrown. And I know that back of strip mall world, it's all over Jersey. And so I wanted to pick that up there into something that we could command in a second. And so, yeah, that's kind of what sparked it all. I'm always writing and always thinking of the next thing. And I think we're built the same, though. I think you got some cool ideas in your head, too.
So now I got to ask, so Blake Winston Rice, do you ever come back to this side of the campus? Do you ever come back to this?
I do.
This coast?
Hell yeah. I'm from Jersey. My family's from Morristown. That's with 2 O's, not the one up north that's more popular.
Yeah, the better one.
Every conversation I have is, oh, you know Morristown. I'm like, no, the other Morristown. And so I'm close to Jersey. I will be back there. I'm back there a couple times a year. I appreciate our state more and more. I really love it to death. I love the shore. I love the weird pockets. I love how it can become every different landscape possible. Like there's Cowtown Rodeo in Jersey, and I will shoot something there. I know that family. Like there's there's the Pine Barrens, there's like city, there's all of that. And also the Jersey Film Commission, David Schoner has been incredibly supportive and helpful for me throughout my entire career. And my first job will come back and shoot in Jersey. Fingers crossed. I gotta come back. I always will. And there's also an essence to the people there that I love and long for and I'm drawn to. I'm sure you two meet it with different guests. There's a tenacity and there's a roll your sleeves up energy that comes from, the folks from Jersey, and I'm really proud of that and proud to be a part of that and proud to call it home.
Did you feel like there was more opportunity on the West Coast? Because New York, I always feel like, is a hotbed for opportunity. But for what you want to do, is West Coast the place to be? Do you need to be there to be able to kind of do your next project?
Now, yeah, I'm really grateful for kind of what I learned and the jobs and the opportunities and kind of like the step ladder that I was climbing up in New York. And I think it taught me work ethic and an insane network and a great network of production people. But the development, the financing, the funding, the the talent and all of that is still out here from at least my side of the street. So for the near future, I gotta be in LA. But
what is the box that you want to check before your career's over? Like, what's the ideal passion project that you want to feed? You must also put it out let's put it in the ether now. Mm-hmm. What do they call
Manifest
that?
It.
Manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
They call manifesting.
Would love to do a movie that has lacrosse in it, that is done right. That was my sport I played in. Everyone, like, I'm going to get made fun of so much for saying this to my friends, but lacrosse in film has never been done right. It looks terrible. And there's a huge fan base there.
Think of any movie with lacrosse even in it.
Was Hell Stella Got Her Groove Back? Did that have lacrosse in it?
It's in the first American Pie has it, and it's horrendous. So I would want to do a story about that when I'm ready. I have a movie about Johnny Appleseed that is in the Cosmos right now as well. And right now, honestly, the dream for me is what the closest is right now. And I think the dream always changes. My goal is not to make movies for movie makers. I want to be Spielberg, and I want to put butts in seats. I want to chase critical acclaim, but I want to get TNT reruns for 30 years.
We're going to close with advice for students that are pursuing film as their major here at Rowan.
Okay, shoot everything. If you're in school and you can rent gear out, and that's based, so you have free gear, other students will work on stuff, you have free locations, and you have insurance, right? Every weekend you essentially have a $50,000 to $100,000 product that you can do. That's what you're paying for in school. Yeah, you're learning stuff, but film is more like a trade, like you have to go out and learn on your own in addition to the classroom. And if you want to be a director and if you want to be a screenwriter, you need to be maximizing your time at school because you have an incredible value there. Shoot. You need to shoot a bunch of crap. Shoot all your crap out. I'm still doing it. You should be leaving school with more than just your projects. What body of work? Okay, you want to be a director? Show me what you've directed. Okay, you want to come out of school. What is your plan? And you need a body of work, and you need to learn how to curate that. Go out and shoot, man. Shoot. And if I see one more project that's shot inside of a dorm or on campus, I'm going to snap. Go out, knock on doors, whatever your story is you're trying to tell, set it in. I know there's farmland 3 inches away. Go ask whoever owns that to shoot there, and that's a $30,000 value on a location that's going to look incredible and differentiate yourself without spending $1. Get some cool locations, think location first, and go out there and film as much as you can. And then also, I would hear alumni to come back and talk. And that is huge. Look, I'm still working with 4 alumni from Rowan on every set. Listen to your alumni when they come in and tap in with them, and also sharpen your networking skill set. It's such a thing. And I'm sure both the hosts of the show can attest to that too. Like, reach out to filmmakers you love, DM them. Instagram is a weapon. Go out and say, hey, I love your stuff. I'd love to, if you're ever looking for an intern, if you're ever looking for an assistant, or can I take you out to lunch and pick your brain on the business? Start curating that list now and take it really seriously. This business is not consistent. No one gets in the same way, and you have to find your way in through the basement. So having a body of work and seizing the day on your own, you have to do by yourself, and you have to figure it out on your own. You got to look at filmmaking as a small business. You're a director, you're a small business. How are you gaining new customers? How are you putting yourself out there, and how are you growing? You have to make all those plans on your own, and it's different for everybody. But you got to stay aggressive. You got to stay on top of it and tap in with the people. Tap in with me. If you see my Instagram after this interview, DM me, say, hey, I'm doing this. And if I don't answer the first time, do it 5 more times until I do. Seriously. The Rowan network is strong. The Rowan network is supportive. We're on all coasts. And I bring on new people every time I shoot. I bring on new PAs every time I shoot. And I love sending the ladder down. A lot of people are helping me out right now. I'd love to help out Rowan grads. So reach out. I'm happy to help, but also stay hungry. Soapbox over, rant over.
It all started here in the RTN studios.
I know, Jess. And Jess, I feel like we blew it.
Why? This is the second interview in the outro where we said we blew it.
I know. Is it really? We blew it again.
Okay,
we're not
why?
learning our lesson. I feel like we could have gotten on his next show. Remember, he said he's trying to involve people.
Oh,
into
yeah.
his,
Should it have been us? Should we have put our?
We should have said, what? Hey, Blake, could you throw us put me in the background or something like that.
But he said current students, and you're old. So.
Yeah. Well, I will say one thing. We've certainly inspired, I think, his next show.
Yes.
If he does something about some crazy person that eats dry sandwiches or a podcasting mom of 2,
yeah,
then we'll know that we're involved in this.
I know. He was great. So much fun. I see big things ahead for him. I'm looking forward to following his journey and being able to be like, that's one of us, Yeah,
he's got the comedic side of it. He's got very self-deprecating, which is what I think is such a huge piece. And all the stuff that he's doing is amazing. It's great that he's able to and offer, like you said before, Rowan students an opportunity possibly to come and participate in what he's doing.
You've been listening to Beyond the Brown and Gold on Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM. You can find more episodes on your favorite podcasting platforms by searching for Beyond the Brown and Gold or Rowan Radio On Demand.